Welcome to my no 6-star 4P relay, risk 25 clear. For those of you who already know what 4P relay is, or want to skip right into the clear, you can jump to the timestamp in the description down below. For those unaware, 4P relay is a relay playstyle in which all 6 stars are banned and you only have 4 deploy limit. This does mean that things that don't use deploy slots, such as tactician summons, traps, robots, and the first summoner summon with the correct module won't count against us. As for the risks we'll be taking, the most notable ones are Reaper 3B, which gives the Reapers a big HP buff and reduces their passive HP loss to nearly nothing. Enemy attack up 3, which is really only notable for spitters, and the fact that it makes Reapers deal even more sanity damage. Sea Crawlers 3, which will spawn all the extra eggs, and SP costs up. Next is the squad. We've got a lot of repeat faces from my last video, as well as some new ones. Platinum will be on trash duty, Spectre will give me crippling anxiety, Mia will show us Madame Chen's swordsmanship, and Cutter will do the cut. But without further delay, let's jump right into this clear. The opener of the 4P relay will be very familiar to those who watched my last video, though I have made some nail-biting optimizations. To start, we'll once again be deploying Karst and May to deal with their respective egg pockets. I spent quite a bit of time trying to come up with a different opener, but this one ended up being too efficient for the slot usage and risk levels it enabled, and I kept coming back to it as the best option. We'll be activating Karst as soon as we can. Next we'll drop Black Knight, and in a funny twist of fate, it's actually ideal to get extremely bad RNG on Karst here, as that would have allowed me to activate Black Knight before Karst to attack the egg next to herself and deploy Platinum a second earlier. I did not get that lucky here. We'll allow Karst to get a full burst into the egg next to her, and recall her at 3 out of 4 shots in the next burst to get a tiny bit of extra damage in. Tragically, this ended up mattering. After Karst runs away, we'll put down Platinum, and start charging her skills, and begin waiting very patiently to put down Ambriel. I realized that I forgot to put down Hattie before now. Put him down now. He'll make it so that the spitter does not attack and kill Black Knight. Now for our next Masochist optimization. You need to let May fire her skill shots into the egg next to her and recall her between the time that the egg gets hit and pops its retaliation attack. Letting May get this one burst off is marginally faster than letting Ambriel fully kill this egg. Is this important here? Honestly, I have no idea. This was something I had to do in an earlier plan, and I just never stopped doing it, and I may have been giving myself a heart attack every single run for no reason and never realizing it until I was writing the strip. So that's fun, right? Right? Anyways, next we'll activate Ambriel. And then, when the egg pops its last retaliation, we'll drop April to steal the kill, since eggs don't retaliate when they die because they are dead. And we want Ambriel to focus on the next egg. And again, this may have just been me being extra, not realizing it's not necessarily played this perfectly in this version of the plan, but I just got into the habit of doing this because it failed earlier plans. Once Eggy McEggston is dead, we'll recall April and Ambriel and place Honeyberry and Firewatch and relax for a moment as we have some nice, chill, normal gameplay for a few seconds. Now that Platinum is finished showing us why she's the best assassin in Casimirez, we'll give her the rest of the day off and send May on a very dangerous mission to help Cutter. We'll be throwing 2 sets of knives into the Reaper here and saving the next set for SFTT. After FFTT drops his first album on May, we'll recall her before he can manage to drop the second and inflict critical emotional damage. Next up, we'll activate Firewatch as close to FFTT entering her range as we can, as they have exactly the same range, and while technically this is not necessary to try to get this activation this perfect, if I can get the activation timing down to within a couple frames, we can buy ourselves some breathing room later with one of the Reapers. Speaking of trying to get things down to within only a couple frames, it's time for April again! Once again, this is technically not required for me to pull off this frame perfect drop, but if I get this right, we'll have April finish off FFTT while Firewatch kills a spitter, wasting the least possible amount of DPS on it, and lining things up so that the incoming Reaper will take 3 shots from Firewatch after SFTT dies. We're getting slightly out of order though. Next up, we'll activate Cutter and recall her as soon as the 4th knife is in the air, since we don't need her to stick around for it, and we'll start charging a Mia. We'll recall April before her skill runs out so that SFTT doesn't have the time to hit her, and we start charging Spectre. We'll reap the rewards of all that heart attack inducing frame perfect shit by getting Firewatch to fire 1 whole extra shot at that stupid Reaper and then we'll put down Karst so that she can also help chip away at that Reaper. Being careful to ensure that Karst doesn't attack the eggs, as this would mess up Mia's targeting. It's time for count the attacks with Mia! Mia's magic and can't be hit during the first part of her skill. After 3 regular attacks, we'll activate the skill. The egg would retaliate on the 4th, and I tried to be cool and set up a perfect dodge, but when I did this, she'd sometimes end up blocking the wrong egg. But honestly, this was just me trying to be extra, so I didn't do that here. After Mia gets done making scrambled eggs and she leaves for anger management classes, we'll begin charging Mulberry. We'll activate Karst and let her get a couple extra shots in on that Reaper before finally letting her rest. To be honest, in this run, this is probably not necessary since we got that extra Firewatch shot in, but better safe than sorry. Core goes on bot lane, and Spectre activates Sicko mode. Now we're almost done, but we've still got one more scary step to get through before we're in the clear. So you may be wondering why I chose to face Spectre away from the lane. That is because I wanted to ensure that we had the most time that we could get with her attacking Reapers before having to swap out Spectre, as Honeyberry, even at S1 M3, cannot keep up with the sanity damage inflicted by having to witness 2 Reapers enjoying Autumn at the same time. You may also be wondering why use an AoE guard if activating multiple Reapers at the same time is such an issue, and that is because we need to kill that last stupid, big, meanie, bully spitter so that it doesn't kill Mulberry, and since these dumb Reapers have so much HP, it's pretty much impossible to do that without an AoE, since I have no free deploy slots, because for some reason I have to do this with 4 deploy limit. Why do I do this to myself? We're going to need to activate Spectre Sicko mode again, and we're going to need to have her deal a lot of damage to the Reaper she's blocking. However, we cannot, under any circumstances, allow her to wake up the next Reaper. Just before the next Reaper reaches her, we'll recall Spectre and drop Cutter back in and pray that we dealt enough damage to the Reaper for Cutter to finish it off before the last Reaper reaches the defensive line. And we did it! Now it's just time for some sick R25 stall gameplay to finish things off. And that's the Risk 25 4P Relay clear. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to catch me molding live, check me out at twitch.tv/reltats.